All right, yo, everybody, what's going on? We got me and Vinny here back for episode, I believe this is 13 of Fast Break Podcast. No Jordan today. We're going to be just me and Vinny. He will be back hopefully next episode. Today, we're just going to be talking about some NFL, going over some week 2 predictions, and also some NBA. There hasn't been a ton of NBA news recently, but we did just get word pretty recently, probably like this past week, I would say. The Houston Rockets are looking to move on from John Wall and his $42 million contract. If you're the Houston Rockets, what are you doing? How are you trying to move them?
Well, clearly John Wall's value is at an all-time low. He's hurt. He's not playing up to the standards of his $42 million contract. You just want anything you can for John Wall, a pick, a decent young piece. I mean, really anything. You just want to get him out of Houston. Yeah, they're clearly rebuilding. They don't need him. KPJ and Jalen's backcourt of the future. And I'm very interested to see where he goes because I feel like there's a decent amount of shooters for him.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think my opinion on John Wall, I mean, look, bottom of the league in like true shooting percentage, effective.
Yeah.
The raw percentages, don't lie. Not a very efficient scorer. He's never really been that, but now more than ever, really struggles to score the ball. Even though he averaged upwards of 20 in Houston, the efficiency was just not there. And he's making $42 million, which means that's around the value of a lot of other superstars. He's not worth that. So you're looking for a team with a lot of cap space. And the team who I think he would be perfect on is Cleveland. You have a guy like Kevin Love, a guy like John Wall. They'd be perfect. It would be a perfect swap because, Cleveland needs a good guy who can score the ball. Even though John Wall is inefficient, he could revitalize his career potentially in there, spend the last couple of years in Cleveland, maybe helping them generate some offense. And K-Love adds veteranship to Houston's young core. He fits Silas's system as like a stretch big to go alongside guys like Wood and Olynyk. So I think that would work out for both sides. But yeah, it's going to be really tough to deal him. I think that the Rockets are probably going to get lowballed on this deal. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah, me too. When we've seen guards like this, Kemba Walker, this isn't a guard, Al Horford, guys with big contracts that clearly don't deserve them. The Oklahoma City Thunder have always been a team that are willing to take on the contract. They obviously just flipped Kemba Walker. Maybe John Wall to OKC for literally anything. OKC clearly doesn't care if they take on the contract; they can flip them. The Clippers, I think, no, the Clippers don't have that much money. They would have to figure out something to do with money, but the Clippers do need a guard, and I feel like just as a bench guy, John Wall's never really been that, but he could be a decent piece for the Clippers.
Yeah, you bring up a pretty good point with LA though, because I mean Eric Bledsoe, he's not on a small contract. I mean, I believe he is making somewhere in the $20 to $30 million range. And I obviously, you have the two max guys and Paul George and Kawhi Leonard already. But I mean, if you looked at Fred, like you're not gonna have Kawhi Leonard this year, man. I feel like a guy like John Wall would definitely be a very helpful addition to LA if they would be willing to trade a guy like Eric Bledsoe and probably some more cap filler. It's going to be tough to definitely pull off a trade for John Wall. But I think, does he still have stuff left in the tank? He's never going to be the all-star. He once was a perennial all-star. He probably won't be again. Does he have something left in the tank though?
The tank I'd say is 20% full when it comes to John Wall. Injuries are a main part of it. That's very unfortunate. John Wall's a guy that really has relied on athleticism for the majority of his career. When he was getting buckets in Washington, he was a speedster getting down the court, getting easy layups. He's not like that anymore. He's had to change his game, and the efficiency really isn't there. But I do think if he's in the right system, like you said, the Cavs it would kind of be weird with Garland and Sexton, I would assume. They are looking to move one of them maybe. So if John gets a bigger role in Cleveland, then I think he could, again, like in Houston, average upwards of 20 and show that he's still a decent player.
Yeah, John Wall, very interesting case. Hasn't been a lot of NBA news recently, sadly. However, it does lead into our next topic. We are going to be talking more about the NFL. And Thursday night, we had, in my opinion, what's already the game of the season. I don't think it's close. The Ravens game on Monday night was pretty pretty close. But this game, I feel like, takes the cake. My team versus Vinny's team. We do have a lot to talk about. I agree. It was a good game. And you ended up on top 1 point. And by the way, he wasn't offsides. In case you guys didn't see, I rewatched it. People are saying
he wasn't. No, he wasn't offside.
At least we could agree on that. So, your initial thoughts from the game?
I have a lot of takeaways, and I'm gonna save Daniel Jones because I feel like Daniel Jones honestly can be his own subtopic within the Washington the Giants game. Overall, I think the game was super not what I thought it was gonna be like. I thought it was gonna be a low scoring. Both defenses are obviously they were pretty good last year, and I thought it was gonna be like a 17-14, just a real low. No, we had slingers. Heineke was slinging it. Daniel Jones was slinging it. It was a really fun game to watch. I was super anxious. The group chat honestly wasn't as toxic as I thought, which I was happy about. So Giants come out and they just go right down first drive. Daniel Jones rushing touchdown. Our defense can't stop them, and I'm just so disappointed. Terry McLaurin then starts to get it going, and at halftime I was feeling pretty good, and then the Giants in the third quarter absolutely dominated. Darius Slayton had that touchdown. And going in the fourth quarter, Graham Gano, this guy is not missing field goals. He
All
hit a
pro,
five. Yeah,
all pro
he's
season.
absolutely amazing. And then I'm just gonna give my little summary of the end of the game. You can give your side because I'm sure it's different. So our kicker, I'm not a very big fan of Dustin Hopkins. He usually shanks it. And once we got to 48, I'm like, okay, there's no way this guy's hitting it. And I was right. And I'm like, oh my God, cut him immediately. Then Dexter Lawrence jumped offside. It wasn't offside. He kicked from 43. It honestly looked kind of wide right again, but it crept in and we won. Um, what is your rundown of the game? Because I'm sure your viewing experience was very different than mine.
I mean, yeah, it was. I mean, for the most part, it was a roller coaster of emotions, especially going down to the
Mhm.
fourth quarter. I thought from the first touchdown we were going to run away with this, and I would be able to
Yes.
tell you guys and the rest of our group chat, I told you so. Daniel Jones is the truth, but it was not like that. It was a good game though. You guys obviously have one of the best defense in the league, and our starting center Nick Gates likely going to be out for the season. I mean
Oh,
that leg injury did not look good.
oh.
And our O line is already the worst in the league according to Pro Football Reference. I mean Pro Football Focus. So can't can't be good. And we did feel the heat. Daniel Jones got sacked 4 times, obviously.
Mhm.
And he was taking a lot of hits, but he still was completing a ton of passes, 250 yards almost. He was looking really good. And I feel like a lot of people were seeing what I was seeing in week 1 against Denver. He was cooking up a lot of dots. He was making a lot of reads. He wasn't throwing in immense coverage. And his receivers were doing a lot of work. Sterling Shepard, man, he did well.
Yes.
Checking here, 94 yards receiving, not bad. And Daniel Jones had more rushing yards than your entire team. So I feel like that's pretty commendable as well as that one like 50-yard run that was called off on a
CJ Ward.
non-holding call. That wasn't a
CJ
holding
Ward.
call, man.
It wasn't. I don't
Refs
know.
were
I don't
killing
know if
us.
Ron Rivera paid the refs or like he has a connection to the refs.
He looked
Um.
he looked disturbingly chill on the sideline the entire
Yeah.
time. It was
Yeah.
even after the Bradbury interception, he just no
Yeah.
emotion. Which, by the way, James Bradbury, he did get cooked by Scary Terry. I won't lie to you, but that lurk
He
at the
did
end of
make
the
the
game,
play. Yeah, he made the play. He made the
that was
play.
a nice interception. Um, from a guy who honestly, I'm gonna keep it 1,000. This is kind of just I feel like James Bradbury is slightly overrated as a Giants fan. But in man at least, but he makes a lot of good reads, like the one he did on Thursday.
Yes.
Look, man, I feel like this was really a quarterback duel. Two underrated guys. Taylor Heineke, man, it really impressed me.
Hmm.
I know a lot of people really liked him going like from the game from Tampa Bay. He impressed me a lot though. Daniel
That's
Jones,
me.
though, man, I feel like the big takeaway here is that Daniel Jones still has something to prove for sure. Is he a generational talent? No. Is he going to be the guy that we stick with? Probably not. But I mean, you never know, man. Like this could really be a redemption story. This is one of the best defense in the league, like I just said, and he dominated, man. I mean, very few flaws, no turnovers, very surprising. He played well, man. It was a close game. I'm not gonna take this as a huge L. I'm gonna take this as progression from our guy.
I have a lot to talk about with Daniel Jones. I love to slander Daniel Jones. It usually gets you riled up, which I love to see. But to be fair, the assessment of him to me is kind of unfair, especially I'm being honest, he's played probably two top at least 10 defenses the first 2 weeks. He's handled it pretty well, maybe top five. And for most Giants fans and most NFL fans in general, this is supposed to be Daniel Jones' year, right? If
Mhm.
if not, they're going to try to move on and get someone else. But the line is so bad. Like, is it really fair to assess him when he doesn't have any time? He gets no protection. Not to mention Jason Garrett's play calling, which at times is absolutely abysmal. So I just feel like if you really put him in the situation to win, I don't think it would be. I think it would be much better and could honestly be the guy. I'm not saying he's going to be an elite guy, but he could be a good starter for years to come if you put him in the right situation, which he hasn't had yet.
Yeah, I mean, I fully agree. And look, I mean, over the past couple of seasons, he's top 10 in almost every, defensive rushing statistic on a quarterback. I mean, quarterback hits, sacks. It's because his line can't protect him. I mean, we have three, sophomore guys on the line. Andrew Thomas as our right tackle, who just is not very good. We lost Kevin Zeitler. It just seems to keep getting drastically worse and worse every single year. I don't know why we didn't trade it for a guy like Penei Sewell, who's really going to be, in my opinion, a generational kind of lineman, because he needs help. And I really think that if we were to give him even a serviceable line, you would see more games like this. I mean, he played very, very well. I feel like he's starting to turn a lot of heads from some haters. Not saying he's elite or anything, but look at the situation he has, man. I mean, he doesn't have protection. And you saw this. He was getting rushed almost every single play these past 2 weeks. But
Yes.
I don't know. I like the receivers he has around him. He's starting to make diamonds out of nothing. So I kind of like that. But I don't know. It was a good game. The game of the
It
year, in
was
my opinion.
yes, yes.
Very, very good game.
And moving on to something that we are going to do every week. Yes, we're aware we're a week late. NFL picks for each week. We're going to try our best to keep our records throughout the year. Hopefully, we'll get some of these games are really good. So I'm just going to read these lists and we're going to discuss who we have. And this should be the last topic of the video, depending on how long it takes. The first game is the Las Vegas Raiders coming off a win against the Ravens at the Pittsburgh Steelers, which I think is a very interesting game. Who do you have and why?
Look, man, I'm going with the Pittsburgh Steelers because after their incredible week 1 performance, they were keeping Josh Allen on the move. Their defense looked as advertised. It looked great. TJ Watt was getting in there. The secondary looked amazing. They have a defense full of big names, and I think that you can't compete with it. I'm sure the Raiders defense looked great against the Ravens, but I mean, I really just think that the Steelers defense is going to be too overwhelming. I don't think Derek Carr is going to be able to handle it. I'm going Steelers on this one, and I think that they're going to be a team that's going to turn some heads this year as well. I feel like they're really going to shock the world a little bit with that defensive prowess.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with this. We will probably disagree on some of these. I'm gonna say Pittsburgh, and we all know the defense is great, but the Raiders, from what I remember, Lamar Jackson had a really good game running on them last week. So I feel like Najee Harris, he was not good in week 1.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's a chance for him to break out against the Las Vegas Raiders defense at home and help your fantasy team. You definitely need it.
Yeah, I hope so.
So yeah, we both got the Steelers for the first game. Second game, we have MVP candidate in week 1, Matthew Stafford's Rams, playing the Colts on the road. I think we have the same team again, but
yeah,
we can break it down. Rams?
Yeah, it's LA, man. I mean, really, what else you want? I don't think is Carson Wentz back?
Carson Wentz is back. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
The defense is so good; it's going to get shut down.
Right.
Stafford played really well.
I mean, the Colts do have a lot of injuries though, and I wasn't sure if Wentz was one of them. Quentin Nelson, I believe, is still out. They're an injury-rail team, potential to be good. I don't think they are there yet, especially against such a strong defensive LA Rams team. I think it's pretty easy the Rams are going to win. Upsets are always a thing, though. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think LA probably has this one though.
Yeah, we got LA. This one I think we're going to disagree with, based on our text in the group chat during week 1. We have the Buffalo Bills at the Miami Dolphins. I'll start this one off. I'm gonna take the Miami Dolphins. I think the Bills just really weren't impressive last week. I know Pittsburgh has an amazing defense, but Miami has a really good defense too. Xavier Howard and Byron Jones, 2 elite cornerbacks. And it's weird, but it is tough to play in Florida sometimes. It's hot. We don't know what the weather is going to be like. I think Josh Allen, he will be fine. I just think he needs to settle down. But I got Miami in a close one, very close. I'm going to go with the upset here because I don't agree with you on everyone.
Okay. Well, see, the thing for me is kind of the opposite. I know you're questioning Josh Allen's ability to play. I'm questioning Tua, though. I know Jalen Waddle proving to be a weapon, looking pretty promising. Tua, though, I don't know. They need the reason they drafted Jalen Waddle over a guy like Penei Sewell is because they need to give Tua weapons to prove himself. And right now, I mean, after what we saw last year, not really the greatest campaign out of Tua. He wasn't bad, but he definitely showed some room to grow. I'm taking the Bills in this one. I think that last game they got overpowered by Pittsburgh, but I think Josh Allen is sitting behind a serviceable line. I don't think Miami's defense is too overpowering. Josh Allen's an MVP candidate. He is a top 5 quarterback. He is going to get the job done against Miami.
Okay, we shall see. First one we disagree on. Next, another shocker from week 1. MVP candidate Jameis Winston Saints going to play Christian McCaffrey's Panthers. It's a division battle. Who do we have here, Luca?
I'm looking at I actually have these on a pick 'em
Okay.
because I'm reading them off. I'm kind of surprised I didn't take the Panthers here. I picked the Saints. I'm,
What's your official pick? You can switch it up. That's different.
I mean, I'll stick with what I had here. Clearly, when I was writing these down, I gotta have confidence in myself, man. I'll go the Saints. I mean, sure, Jameis Winston, man, was cooking them up under 150 yards and still 5 passing touchdowns against a great Packers team. I mean, sure, their defense maybe isn't, top tier, but that's still very impressive. I mean, and their defense shut Aaron Rodgers down, made him look like a fool out there. I have faith in the Saints, man. I don't think that they're done. And they have Alvin Kamara, of course. Going up against a shoddy Panthers defense. I think that Jameis is going to continue to get it done.
Read my mind. I'm going to focus on the Saints defense. The Saints defense is really underrated, in my opinion. Everyone talks about Kamara. He's a top back in the league, rightfully so. I think Sam Darnold, he played the Jets last week, and yes, he did look good, but he's still a young guy. He's going to make some mistakes, and I think guys like Marshawn Lattimore are going to be able to capitalize it. I'm going to go with the Saints. I think Jameis is going to have another good game, and the Saints are going to get a 2-0. Next game, we have an AFC East division battle at MetLife Stadium. We have the Patriots going to play the Jets. Is there much to be said?
Probably not. I mean, I don't think so. Let's talk Zach Wilson for a minute. How do we feel about Zach Wilson against Carolina?
For me, it was a tale of two halves, really. It was kind of bizarre. So in the first half, he came out, he was clearly nervous. Some balls were absolutely atrocious, way behind the receivers. But in the second half, I feel like he started to get going a bit. He showed his mobility. He could throw on the run. He's young. He's raw. He needs some time to develop. But I saw enough things where I could be like, okay, this guy can be a good quarterback in the future. He's going to make some mistakes. He's a rookie. It's what rookies do. But I think he could be good.
Yeah, I mean, look, man, I'm going obviously New England, I feel like, but I think that Mac Jones versus Zach Wilson. A lot of people are hyping up Mac Jones, man.
Mac Jones.
I did not get to see him play against Miami. I heard it was a great game. But I mean, people are saying that he's another one of those Alabama prodigies, man. And who's he got on his receiving core?
Nelson Aguilar. He really doesn't have Hunter Henry's their tight end.
Okay, so not a ton of weapons, but he has the greatest weapon of all, Bill Belichick. I think that they're gonna reign supreme, man. It was a tough loss against Miami. I think Mac Jones is definitely gonna come out the victor in this one. Don't think it's too close either. I think that they're definitely gonna come away with this one.
Let's go New England by double digits. Luca, do you have a game you want to cover next? Because you have them up on your phone as well. So
I do. I want to talk about the Eagles versus the Niners. A lot of people are saying Philadelphia. I'm not sure about that. Which one are you going with?
I'm going San Fran. Clearly we both are NFC, our teams in the NFC, so we don't really like the Eagles. I just don't think they had a really good game against the Falcons, but I don't think the Falcons are that good. So I think people are kind of overrating the performance. I did say in a previous episode I loved Devonta Smith, and I still do. He had a really good game. Jalen Hurts is a baller, but I think San Fran's defense, they just have a bunch of monsters. Fred Warner, Dre Greenlaw, Bosa, and I think they're going to be able to get after Hurts enough. I think they're going to win. I don't know if it'll be by a lot, but I do think San Fran will get the victory.
I agree. And, I'm going to be honest, I was susceptible to the Eagles hype kind of thing, I guess, if you want to call it that. I was really surprised at how good the Eagles defense looked. And then I remembered, this is, probably one of the worst teams in the league. If not the worst team, honestly. So, I was definitely caught in that trap for a minute. They had a big win against Atlanta. You can't take that
Yeah.
away. But honestly, I mean, if you're even looking, Jalen Hurts was playing a little bit conservative, in my opinion, against the Falcons defense, which
Mhm.
again is not very good. He didn't look bad by any means. He looked pretty good. He looked promising. But I feel like they ran a lot with Miles Sanders. Miles Sanders played well,
Mhm.
regardless of the opponent. But Jalen Hurts, man, I feel like he wasn't as aggressive as he could have been against a team like this. And I think he's going to have some trouble. It's going to be kind of a big drop off for Jalen Hurts going up against a very, very, very scary defense in the San Francisco 49ers. I say we do let's cover one more game. This one's kind of a 50-50
Okay.
toss up. I feel like a good way. Maybe we won't do every matchup unless you want to.
No, we can. There is one I want to cover. So if we're thinking of the same one,
It might be the same one because I feel like it's a 50-50.
okay.
Dallas versus Dallas
Okay.
Cowboys versus the Chargers.
We're gonna have to do one more after this,
Okay.
but I do want to talk about the Dallas one. Dallas Chargers. This is a very, very interesting game. I'm gonna go with the Cowboys. I hate to do it. I love what I saw from Dak Prescott coming off the ACL and actually the elbow injury. That was kind of weird, bizarre
Hmm.
preseason. The receivers were great. Amari Cooper, I know he carried your fantasy team in week one.
Hmm.
Sadly, not to a victory, but I think he will carry you to a victory here because I think he's going to ball out. I think that it's going to be a high scoring affair. Justin Herbert's going to light it up. He lit us up. And I'm actually going to give a score prediction. I'm going to say 31-28 Dallas Cowboys.
So a close one there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going Cowboys as well. That's who I had picked. Yeah, Dak looked incredible, man. And against again the Tampa Bay defense, which was pretty scary. But I mean, even so, even when the pressure was on, he looks calm and collected, especially for a guy coming off the injury which he suffered last year. Looked very impressive. Looked like perhaps he could be having another MVP type season.
Yeah.
And the Chargers, man, they came off a tough loss. Justin Herbert looked great. Not as good as Dak, though. I love Justin
Mm-hmm.
Herbert. It's going to be close. And I see a lot of people are picking the Chargers to win here. I'm not sure who the favorite is. The favorite is LA, man. That seems a little bit crazy to me. Not on any hater stuff. I'm just saying I think that the Cowboys are definitely coming away with this one. Um, I feel like it's not going to be close. They have too many weapons on offense. I think they're going to keep LA on their feet.
Yep, I think they will. And this is a great way to end it. We live in the state of Maryland. We get a lot of comments.
Mm,
We slander the Ravens. The Chiefs play the Ravens, and to me, this shouldn't really be a discussion. I'm gonna go with the Chiefs, and I think it might get ugly. I really do. I think Patrick Mahomes, every time he's played in Baltimore, he's balled out. This time will be no different. They can easily just hang up 40 anytime. I think they might do it.
yeah, man. I mean, look, I know I'm notorious on here for slandering Lamar, but it looked ugly against Oakland, man. If you can't beat Oakland, if you're going to sell in the clutch, there's no chance you are beating Kansas City. However, the one defense that I have for Baltimore is that they always seem to play up to big competition.
Yes,
It's
they
been
do.
like this since Joe Flacco.
Mhm.
It's been like this a lot, and which sucks as a not a hater, but as a guy who doesn't love to see Baltimore win because
Yes.
they'd
Yeah.
be winning some big games sometimes, except in the playoffs. But that's another story. I don't know. I feel like Patrick Mahomes obviously going to come away with this. September Patrick Mahomes is a different
Yeah.
beast. Never thrown an interception, no turnovers in September, I believe. Undefeated in September. It's going to continue. He's going to reign supreme in Baltimore. Um, it's not going to be close. I agree. I think it's going to get ugly. Yeah, it's going to be a good one. I'm definitely going to tune in, but
Yeah. It's a primetime game. We're gonna have to tune in. I could be to bed. I could be in bed by halftime though. I already know what's gonna happen.
yeah.
And that is gonna wrap up episode 13. It was a good episode.
Hmm.
Gave our predictions for week 2. Episode 14. Jordan will be back. We just gave him the night off. We're gonna talk some basketball. We have some topics we want to cover. And thank you guys for the support. We know it's been kind of a week since we put out the last video. We have school, but we're looking forward to create more content for you guys. Peace.